I'm Aria Bennett, 22, and just graduated from Northwestern with a biochemistry degree. My parents threw me an extravagant graduation party, which seemed strange, especially after they called me a worthless leech just last week. As I watched the champagne bubbles rise, I caught my father slipping a white powder into my glass when he thought no one was looking. My heart stopped. My own father was trying to poison me. If you're watching this, comment where you're from, hit like, and subscribe as I share how I survived my parents' betrayal, and the revenge I never saw coming. To understand, you need to know my family. The Bennetts weren't normal. My father, Victor Bennett, built Bennett Pharmaceuticals into a billion-dollar empire. Ruthless in business, he destroyed competitors with mysterious accidents, but publicly he was a philanthropist and a devoted father. My mother, Cassandra, came from old money and obsessed over appearances. Charity galas, magazine features, a perfect home, they were all a show. Behind closed doors, she was cold, calculating, and merciless. Then there's Isabella, my older sister. Straight A's, Harvard grad, heir apparent to the family empire. My parents adored her. Every award, recital, tennis match, they were there, applauding, praising, and planning her future. Me. A straight A student too, yet my accomplishments were met with indifference, or criticism. When I won the state science fair, my mother commented on my messy hair. They had already mapped my future. Pharmaceutical sciences, join the family business and follow their script. I wanted something else. Environmental science. Protecting ecosystems from pharmaceutical waste. My parents dismissed it as naive nonsense. I argued, I resisted. I applied to Northwestern's environmental program. Threats, silent treatment, and ultimatums followed, but I stayed firm. I even took loans my final year rather than bend to their control. What they didn't know. My maternal grandmother left me a $12 million trust, accessible when I turned 23 or graduated, whichever came last. Grandma Evelyn was my only supporter, a brilliant chemist forced to work in her husband's shadow. She made me promise to follow my own path. 3 months before graduation, their attorney accidentally mentioned the inheritance. My father turned white with rage. Suddenly, the pressure stopped, replaced by forced interest in my graduation plans. Their sudden change should have been my first warning. Mayday in Chicago. I stood in my cap and gown, heart full of pride and anxiety. Mom texted, "Car service will pick you up at 9:30. Don't be late." Outside the auditorium, my father checked emails, my mother critiqued my hair. No congratulations, no pride, just criticism. Isabella gave me a small, supportive smile. My friends Tessa and Chloe were my lifeline. "Some things never change," I whispered as we hugged. I noticed my parents step aside, whispering urgently. My father's words drifted. "We need to solve this problem today before it gets out of hand." My mother nodded, catching me watching. A practiced social smile plastered her face. "Darling, the ceremony is about to start." The ceremony passed in a blur. Diploma in hand, friends cheering. My parents' polite applause felt empty. The party was extravagant. Ice sculptures, champagne fountains, gourmet catering, a live orchestra. Guests I barely knew mingled, business associates and lawyers included. Dr. Warren, my mentor, warned me. "Your parents are unusually invested right now. Be careful." I noticed their calculating eyes on me. Whenever I moved, they repositioned themselves, watching. Isabella whispered, "Something weird is going on. Dad asked about your plans 3 times. Mom keeps checking her watch." Then my father clinked his glass. In 15 minutes, a special champagne toast. Waiters began arranging flutes. I excused myself to the restroom, slipping down a service corridor. Around the corner, I overheard them. "Are you sure this is necessary?" my mother hissed. "The FDA investigation is gaining momentum. The trust gives her independence. If she exposes the river contamination, we're finished. Just enough to make her sick, not kill her," my father said. Froze. They were planning to poison me. My own parents. Back at the party, My heart raced as waiters distributed champagne. My father personally handled the glasses from the special bottle. I watched as he handed one to me, and I saw it. A slightly cloudy residue at the bottom where the powder hadn't dissolved. I needed proof, evidence. Refusing the drink wasn't enough. They'd try again. I whispered to Tessa and Chloe. Record the toast. Get my father in frame. Everything slowed as the toast approached. My father's eyes met mine, smiling, but I knew the truth. Treason. Betrayal. And the moment had arrived. My father's massive signet ring glinted as he handed me the glass. May your future be everything you deserve, he said. The double meaning was clear. I accepted it, careful not to touch my lips. Before we drink, my mother interjected smoothly. Victor, say a few words about our daughter. He cleared his throat, his public persona in place. Arya has always been determined. While she's chosen an unconventional path, today we celebrate her academic achievement. Compliments for outsiders. Years of disapproval hidden beneath his words. Tessa's phone was recording. 10 seconds. The champagne in my hand might as well have been a live grenade. Then my father added, surprisingly, and to Isabella, who has shown what a true Bennett can accomplish in business. Isabella froze, caught off guard by being included in what should have been my moment. And in that instant I made my decision. Speaking of my amazing sister, I said brightly, stepping forward, I wouldn't be here without her support. I raised my glass toward her. Take mine, sis. I insist. Before anyone could react, I pressed my untouched glass into Isabella's hand and took hers, partially drunk. My father's face froze. My mother's knuckles went white. I raised Isabella's safe glass, looking my father square in the eye. She mirrored me, smiling politely, and drank deeply from the poisoned glass. I sipped from hers, heart pounding. Rage and fear flashed across my father's face. His carefully maintained composure cracking. Minutes later it happened. Isabella swayed, pressing her hand to her forehead. I feel strange, dizzy, she murmured. Her knees buckled, and the associate she was speaking with caught her just in time. My parents' panic was genuine now. My father cradled her head, my mother shrieked for help. Dr. Warren jumped to her side, checking pulses and vitals. Her heart rate was elevated and irregular. I knelt beside her. Stay with her, I told my parents firmly. I'll direct the paramedics. In the elevator I called Tessa. Meet me in the lobby. Bring the recording. It's an emergency. Paramedics arrived. I briefed them. Symptoms include dizziness, disorientation, irregular heartbeat, and tremors. I suspect poisoning. My parents followed, theatrically concerned. What did you do? My father demanded. Nothing, I replied calmly. She drank from my glass. The one you selected. In the ER at St. Augustine Medical Center, I spoke directly to Dr. Patel. I believe she ingested a modified anticholinergic compound, possibly from Bennett Pharmaceutical's research labs, something not detectable on standard tests. Dr. Patel looked skeptical until I explained the clinical reasoning. Within minutes, tests confirmed elevated levels of a research-grade pharmaceutical compound. Will she be okay? Asked anxiously. We're administering the antidote. Her condition is serious but stable, Dr. Patel reassured me. Detective Marquez, who had arrived, studied me. You knowingly allowed your sister to drink suspected poison. My stomach dropped. I had to get evidence. I thought it was non-lethal, I admitted. Investigation begins. Before I could explain further, my father stormed in with his attorney, Gerald Shaw. This is outrageous, he shouted. My daughter is unstable. Detective Marquez calmly intervened. Step outside, Mr. Bennett. We have video evidence of the champagne toast and preliminary toxicology reports confirming a research-grade compound in Isabella's system. My father's face cycled through fury, disbelief, and finally icy calm. Arya has always been troubled, he said. Jealous of her sister. threatening our family business. That is not true. I shot back, describing everything I had witnessed. The poisoned glass, the overheard conversation, and my split-second decision to switch glasses. Shaw handed Detective Marquez his card, insisting further questions go through him. The detective collected it carefully. By the time Isabella stabilized, the poison had been linked definitively to my father's research compounds. I realized then that my plan, desperate as it was, had worked. The evidence was undeniable, the threat neutralized. My parents' careful facade of control had crumbled in an instant, witnessed by staff, friends, paramedics, and now the police. I sat back exhausted, aware that this night had changed everything. The inheritance that had motivated my parents was still mine. The hidden environmental crimes they'd been desperate to cover up could finally see the light of day. And for the first time in my life, I felt unshakable strength. "Interesting family you have, Miss Bennet." "You have no idea," I replied wearily. A commotion in the hallway drew our attention. Dr. Warren was arguing with an officer outside Isabella's room. "I am her family physician. I need to review her treatment," he insisted. Detective Marquez and I stepped out. When Dr. Warren spotted me, relief washed over his face. "Arya, thank God. What happened?" "They're saying Victor tried to poison you." Before I could answer, Dr. Patel emerged. "She's asking for you, Arya." She's groggy but lucid. In the dim hospital room, Isabella lay connected to monitors and N4, her skin pale, hair disheveled. I held her hand gently. "Hey," I said softly. "How are you feeling?" "Like I got hit by a truck," she rasped. "They told me, is it true? Did Dad really try to poison you?" I nodded slowly. "I'm so sorry you drank it instead." I reacted without thinking. Her eyes clouded with confusion and pain. Why would he do that? The trust from Grandma Lillian. The FDA investigation. They were afraid I'd expose contamination at the West facility. Understanding dawned. Isabella squeezed my hand weakly. "I saw the sealed reports last month but didn't understand them. Heavy metal readings. Disposal records. They've been dumping research waste into the watershed for years." A soft knock. Detective Marquez entered with another officer. "Miss Bennett, the FBI has been investigating Bennett Pharmaceuticals for 6 months. For fraud, environmental violations, and falsification of clinical trial data. Your parents were already under surveillance. We executed search warrants at their offices and home. They have substantial evidence of criminal activity." Isabella's monitors beeped as her heart rate rose. "Oh my God. I signed off on some of those documents. Victor said they were routine filings." Her tears fell quietly. "I defended them when you complained. I trusted them completely." "You didn't know," I said. "They manipulated both of us differently." "What happens now?" she whispered. "Now we tell the truth," I replied simply. 2 days later, the Riverside Gazette headline read, "Pharmaceutical CEO and wife arrested for attempted murder of daughter." Subhead, FBI uncovers massive fraud and environmental crimes at Bennett Pharmaceuticals. Our family name, once synonymous with success, became shorthand for greed and betrayal. I moved temporarily into Tessa and Chloe's apartment to escape reporters. Isabella remained hospitalized for 4 days, then went to our Aunt Patricia's care. She had always known Eleanor was capable of terrible things, but this was beyond imagining. The investigation expanded rapidly. The FBI uncovered emails showing systematic falsification of safety data for 3 major drugs, illegal toxic waste disposal, and years of covering up contamination that impacted nearby communities. Detective Marquez confirmed the poisoning compound was an experimental anticholinergic from my father's private lab, signed out days before my graduation. Notes detailing dosage calculations were found in his office. Days blurred into police interviews, meetings with prosecutors, and checking Isabella's recovery. Weeks later, FBI Special Agent Donovan showed me photos of a storage unit rented under my father's name with forged signatures, boxes of documents, laptops, and vials of experimental compounds. The poisoning attempt was Plan C. Plans A and B would have implicated me in corporate espionage and data theft. More secrets emerged. Funds siphoned into offshore accounts, employees fired for raising safety concerns, and families suing over concealed drug side effects. Through it all, Isabella and I grew closer. I was their puppet, she admitted. Everything I did was to please them. You were their shield, I said gently. Your success let them dismiss me as the problematic child. 2 weeks later, our parents were held without bail, considered flight risks due to overseas assets. On the morning of the hearing, Isabella and I met for breakfast. Are you ready? I asked. No, she admitted. But we need to be there. Inside the courthouse, reporters fell silent as we entered. Our parents sat at the defense table, impeccably dressed but diminished. The prosecution presented the toast video, toxicology reports linking the compound to my father's lab, and financial records proving the motive. My trust fund. A recorded phone call exposed my father's plans to cover up environmental contamination and target me. The judge deemed there was sufficient evidence for trial. My mother collapsed in theatrical sobs. My father stared, jaw clenched, fury barely contained. Outside, reporters swarmed again. Isabella took my hand. We're cooperating fully. The only people responsible are Victor and Eleanor Bennett. They tried to kill for money and cover up crimes. In the following months, family members reached out, distant relatives who had suffered under the Bennett legacy. Isabella and I hired Vivian Santos, a sharp attorney, to secure our grandmother's trust and navigate legal separation from our parents. We established a fund for Isabella's medical care, sold most of our parents' assets, and redirected proceeds to a victim compensation fund. I accepted a role with an environmental remediation firm, focusing on cleaning up the Bennett West facility's pollution. Isabella started law school, determined to specialize in corporate accountability. We kept Grandma Lillian's lake house, a shared refuge free of parental influence. Hot chocolate in hand, Isabella and I reflected on the past months, realizing that surviving together forged a bond stronger than the family we had lost. 7 months after the graduation party, Isabella and I sat watching the lake, quiet but at peace. The trust fund was transferred, the legal battle winding down. Our parents pleaded guilty in January, accepting long sentences, still refusing to acknowledge the communities they harmed. I felt a complex mix of sadness, anger, and relief. Finally, it was over. With Tessa and Chloe by my side, Isabella and I began rebuilding our lives. We turned the Bennett legacy of betrayal into one of healing and justice. I volunteered in water quality monitoring, ensuring the mistakes of the past could never repeat, while Isabella pursued environmental law, ready to fight corporate greed for good. From the ashes of manipulation, greed, and attempted murder, a real family emerged, one built on trust, courage, and survival.